Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we're going to be continuing with our series, Dumbfounding Definitions, Dizzying Distinctions, and Diabolical Doctrines, a series sorting through some of the jargon of philosophy. In this video we're going to be looking at what is Cyrenaicism. Now, the Cyrenaics were an ancient Greek school of philosophy, which could be considered a precursor to both Epicureanism and skepticism. Though skeptical, the Cyrenaics believed some knowledge was possible, and though they touted pleasure as the only good, they did not define pleasure as merely avoiding pain, but rather focused on bodily pleasures of the flesh. In this video, we'll go in depth into some of their positions, as well as look at some of the philosophers over the course of time who were Cyrenaics. So, first off, we'll start with Aristippus. There are two different men named Aristippus who are associated with the founding of the Cyrenaic school of thought. Aristippus the Elder, an acquaintance of Socrates who developed some of the main ideas, and his grandson, Aristippus the Younger, who codified and systematized them. The school derives its name from the birthplace of Aristippus the Elder, Cyrene, a city in present-day Libya, which was also the birthplace of Carneades. No writings survive from the Cyrenaics themselves, so it's often difficult to formulate a full picture of their claims, but we'll do our best. Though certainly not fully fledged skeptics, the Cyrenaics had some very skeptical elements to their philosophy. They claimed that the only thing we could know about were appearances and our first-person experience. For the Cyrenaic, I might know that it appeared to me that the cake tastes sweet, but that would not tell me anything about the actual cake, just about my appearance, or the appearance, how that cake was appearing to me. It's appearing to me sweetly. Though they were not necessarily skeptical that the external world existed, they claimed dogmatically that we could not know anything about it. Epicurean ethics is often misstated as the claim that one's own bodily pleasure is the only good. Not the most good for the most people, as utilitarians claim, but rather the only good thing is one's own bodily pleasure. This position should instead really be attributed to the Cyrenaics. They claimed that anything was only good in the pursuit of pleasure. They emphasized bodily pleasures over mental pleasures, and unlike the Epicureans, the Cyrenaics claimed that the absence of pain or pleasure was neutral, as opposed to something good. It was, for them, the lack of change or movement. Pain was a rough movement and was to be avoided, while pleasure was a smooth movement, and one's own pleasure was the only good. Unlike many Greek philosophies, including Epicureanism, happiness, or eudaimonia, was not the end goal. It was merely a kind of side effect of pleasure, and pleasure itself was the ultimate objective. Later proponents of the Cyrenaic school shifted its views towards more of an Epicurean philosophy. The philosophy of Hegesias of Cyrene, known as Hegesias the Death Persuader, that's a cool name, represented one such change. Hegesias was a dark and pessimistic philosopher who actively advocated suicide. According to Hegesias, happiness was impossible to achieve, since you would always experience more pain than pleasure throughout life. Since life included more pain than pleasure, the best course of action was to kill yourself to limit your pain. Hegesias was said to have argued for this conclusion so convincingly that some of his listeners and students went on to kill themselves. According to Cicero, he was banned from presenting his philosophy for this reason. He even wrote a book entitled The Man Starving Himself to Death, where a man tries to explain to his friends why he wants to kill himself, referencing the suffering present in life. Another Cyrenaic philosopher was known as Anniceris. He advocated including mental pleasures such as friendship, though argued that fools couldn't truly experience them. However, friendship, once again, was not good in itself, but rather good because of the pleasure that we experience when we have friends. Theodorus, another Cyrenaic, also known as Theodorus the Atheist, tempered this view further by claiming that joy or happiness was in fact the ultimate goal, but it could be achieved through pleasure. What do you think? Is bodily pleasure the only good? For more information on the Cyrenaics, check out the SEP, the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, or Kurt Lamp's book, The Birth of Hedonism. This video was made possible by a generous donation from João Costa Neto. If you want to suggest a video topic of your own, check out the Carneades.org Patreon page. Watch this video and more here at Carneades.org. Really a huge thank you to all of my donors on Patreon. You really make it possible for me to have internet as frequently as I do and afford to keep making those videos. So thank you all so much. Watch this video and more here at Carneades.org and stay skeptical, everybody.